When it comes to action figure collectors, sometimes it can be frustrating when we go to stores and we can't find things to make our displays or a way to show off our action figures better. Well, we're going to look at some action figure hacks. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. And today, we're going to talk about hacks. No, I'm talking about toy hacks. No, toy collector hacks. Larry, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry about that, Junkman. I must have hit the wrong button. I got some tartar on my fingers. Gangster Jabaku took me over to Red Lobster and we had some fish sticks.
Now, these are things you can find locally at stores or online to make your action figure displays pop out, or a way to display your action figures that they wasn't designed for. I've got 10 things here. We're going to start with number 10, one that I think you all pretty know, and it's not really something you can buy to make your figures look good. It's just, you ever like, oh, I want a figure, but I want to keep it in the box, but I also want to take it out and display it, or at least look at it and then put it back. But once you rip the bubble off, you can't really do that. And I think this is one that everybody's going to know. That's why I started number 10. I think this is one a lot of you guys do. Let's look at R2-D2 right here on this nice card. Let's say you wanted to just display this on the card, but you want to take the R2 out and at least look at it. What you do is take a little razor blade and just cut the little square right here, not a complete square. Just make a little flap. You can lift the flap up. Then the tray will actually slide out. You can get the figure out, look at the figure. Then when you've done it, slide it back in, close the flap at the bottom, then display your figure, and it looks like it's never been opened. I'm sure a lot of you know that one. That's kind of an old one that we've been doing since the 90s, but I thought I'd at least bring that up. Now let's look at more ways to display your figures to make them look cool. And here's something you can go to Walmart right now and buy pretty cheap: a spice rack. And I'm not talking about spice like in Star Wars. I'm talking about spice that you put on food. You can get a little plastic spice rack that's usually 3 levels. These are really good to stand your figures on, especially if you get one that's like a staircase. You can do 1 row of figures, then on the next level another row and another row. It looks really good. And you can even find spice racks that hang on the wall if you want to hang them up on the wall like that. But if you want to sit them on a desk or on something like back there, they look really good. And you can find them usually white plastic, but you can find them like in a wood look and all different kinds. And here's one that you're probably going to get on Amazon. I don't know if Walmart sells it, but I think it's pretty cool, especially if you collect superhero toys. I think it would be really cool. Check out this right here. It's a fire escape like you see on apartment buildings in those movies about the big city. I think you see it in any Spider-Man movie. This will look really cool, especially if it has some Marvel or DC, Spider-Man, Batman figures. I bet you could hang this on the wall because it's designed to hang on the wall and do a really cool display with this thing. I don't know if anybody's done this with this thing yet, but if you have, please let me know. Shoot me a picture over on social media and let me know. I'd love to see it. And one thing I have a problem with is keeping up with small parts. You know, these action figures today, they come with all kinds of guns. Back in the day, we only had usually 1 gun, but now you get like 2 or 3 guns. You get different hands for a different gun. So you want to keep these little parts somewhere and you don't want to lose them. Well, I've got a solution for that. And it's what every man has: a fishing tackle box. But if you're a man like me, you don't put your fish tackles in it. No. You put your accessories to your action figures, your guns and everything. Here's a picture of one. You can put little guns in this. Maybe if the figures came with a stand and you're not going to use it, throw it in there. You can even label each drawer, and it's really good. These are, if you're a collector on the go, maybe you're going to a buddy's house and you guys are going to swap figures and stuff. It's really good for that also. I really like the tackle box. It's a really good thing to keep up with those weapons. And here's something that's kind of in the same vein. I don't keep accessories in it. I keep my action figures in it. Let me show you. This here, as you can see, is designed. It's mostly designed to keep, man stuff in, like screws, nuts, and bolts. But I keep action figures in it. See? And this will even hang on the wall. And you can pick this up at Lowe's, Home Depot, probably anywhere. I know you can get it on Amazon, but see, you just open it up, and there's a figure. Now, most of them like this have small drawers, and then bigger drawers where I have to put more than 1 in. Well, none of them have figures in it, see? But it holds the bigger fat figures too. Really good. And it hangs on the wall. I'm too lazy to hang on the wall. Had it hanging at the old house 2 years ago. It's been 2 years. Hadn't hung this one up yet. Just sits on the floor and collects a lot of dust. That's not dust. Whew. Let me get rid of this. Okay, that's out of the way. Now, let's say you want your action figures to have some accessories, but they only came with a gun, but you want your figures to hold a book or just do something different. Well, head over to Hobby Lobby or maybe the store at Michael's. Art and craft stores usually have this, and again, you can find them online, but they're little miniatures, and they're usually made for people that do dollhouse collecting, I guess, or build dollhouses. But I find that a lot of these will fit in action figure hands. But look at some of these up here. I mean, we got all kinds of things to put in the action figure hands. Even ketchup. You heard me right. I said the K word. Ketchup. Ooh, I might get demonetized on YouTube for a year for that one. But again, if you want your action figures maybe to hold some newspapers or magazines or books or just something a little different than a gun, it's pretty cool. If you got that staircase I showed you, the fire escape, you probably could put the superheroes on it, maybe some just normal citizen action figures, and they're holding the newspaper. It'll look really neat. Now, let's move on. And let's say you want to stand your action figure up, but it's one of those action figures that no matter how you stand it up, it's gonna fall over. Whew. It probably means it's made by Hasbro, especially if it's holding a weapon. They just don't stand up like they're supposed to. Well, go to the hardware store, buy a little metal washer, a little thin metal washer. Now, it usually has a hole in the middle, but that's okay. Smaller the hole, probably the better. Take that washer. Then you can also buy some little bitty magnets. Now, you can either buy the little magnets or they actually make like some tape that's a magnet that you can cut. Glue these onto the bottom of the figure's foot, if you don't mind. So I know some people's like, I'm not gluing anything on my figure, it's going to ruin the figure. But if you don't mind, then glue the magnet onto the foot, then it will stick on the washer. That way you can lay the washer down on the desk or wherever you want to display it, and it will stick right there and your figure will stand up. Now here's another one you can do with that same concept. Check this out. Now these are designed to show off your balls, but if you don't want to show off balls, well, you can put the washer on top of the peg and then use the magnet part for it, and you got these cool little action figure stands to hang on the wall. Isn't that neat? Yeah, I think so. And it looks a lot better than hanging your balls on the wall. Now we got two more. Before I tell you that, I want to tell you about the podcast. That's right. Two Dinosaurs Outside of Tasty Freeze. This is where me and my buddy Russ, we do a live stream on Saturday nights, every other Saturday for about 4 hours. But that's a lot for you guys to sit there on YouTube and listen to. So all those audios are going over to the podcast. You can get it on Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast, you can find it. Look for it. I'll put a link in the description to some of them below. But it's Two Dinosaurs Outside of Tasty Freeze, where we play a lot of fun stuff. We play games like, is it an action figure or a girl band? We played that on the latest episode. We also played, is it a Love Boat episode or did the Junkman just make it up? We also usually go through a TV guide listing of like Wednesday night, and we play, what would you watch? Just say it's Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, and here's the 3 networks. Which one would you watch? It's just a lot of fun. And again, I know it's hard for you guys to listen to it on YouTube for 3 or 4 hours, so it's now up on the podcast. So again, any podcast app you use should have it. If you can't find it on your podcast, let me know and I'll make sure it's added. Again, I know it's a wacky name. It's called Two Dinosaurs Outside of Tasty Freeze. So you want to check that out. Now let's get back to helping out you collectors. And do you hate dusting your action figures? Whew, I know I do. Like, oh, I don't want to dust these action figures. It's horrible. Sometimes I even have to put them in the sink to get the dust off. But if you take a little brush, just a little thin brush, you can really get down in the cracks of some of these figures. I know especially some of the vintage figures right there at the joints, dust gets down in there really good. If you're like me, you want all that dust out, especially if it's a figure where you can see the dust really good. A little brush can go a long way. Trust me, sometimes you don't even have to pick the figures up. You can just ding, ding, ding with the brush right over them and get the dust right off. Try that. And before I give you the number one, I'm going to tell you again about JunkmanMerch.com. We got 2 Christmas shirts still available, still got time. They're going to go away at Thanksgiving. You won't have time to get them for Christmas, so get them now. We also have this new one, the vintage television toy commercial shirt. I really like. I have to get that one for myself. JunkmanMerch.com. Don't forget, you buy a shirt over there, it supports the channel. And one more thing. Are you going to buy toys? I know you are. I'm going to buy toys. Well, Entertainment Earth, I'm going to give you 10% off any in-stock items and free shipping if it's $39 or more. Links in the description below. Use that link. You're going to go buy toys anyway. Why not save 10% and get yourself some free shipping? Now let's look at the last one, and that is a fish tank. You can buy all kinds of different fish tanks. You can get small, tall, big square, big rectangle. And you can really find stuff at hobby stores to make a whole ground. You can set up a whole display inside these fish tanks. Here's one that I found with water in it. That's pretty awesome. I can't believe I didn't see more people doing this. But you know, you can go to Hobby Lobby or Michael's, a craft store, and you can buy stuff that looks like grass and hills and trees, and you can set up a whole cool scene. If you're talented, I probably never could, but it's a good way to hold your figures and then, you know, put the top on it so that way they don't get dusty and everything and then fall over. Trust me, they get dusty really fast. Whew. Dusty isn't just a Kenner doll that hangs out behind me. Dusty is an evil dust particle that lands on your action figures. Seems like you dust them off and the next day they're still dusty. Anyway, that's a look at 10 action figure hacks, or DYE or DYA, whatever they call it. Just 10 things that you might want to do if you're an action figure collector. Let me know if you do any of these, or maybe some that you do that I didn't list here. And maybe we'll do a part 2. Well, I want to thank you for listening. As always, thumbs up on my content. Subscribe to the channel. Talk again soon.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.